Same thing when there's like, oh, there's a new innovative product. Let's use this as an opportunity to fuck over some of the workers that are playing a role in creating that product. All right, let's get to the top news story of the day. That's right. The Writers Guild of America West has officially called a strike.
That breaking news from Hollywood, entertainment writers now on strike. What that means is production is halted on many of your favorite shows as Writers Guild members push for better pay on streaming shows and better working conditions. It's an action taken by more than 11,000 writers all across the country. And the last time this happened, back in 2007, Hollywood lost more than $2 billion. Elise Preston has the latest now from Sony Pictures Studios in Los Angeles. Elise, they say this is the strike that streaming brought. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Tony. Picket lines will form on outside of studios on both coasts later this afternoon. Shows and production will come to a halt. You mentioned that last strike was 15 years ago. It lasted more than 3 months. Insiders warn appointment TV viewing could be delayed even longer.
Oh, no.
Writers might have to do something totally against their nature. Go outside.
Stephen Colbert is one of several late-night hosts whose shows could go dark tonight, as more than 11,000 Hollywood writers prepare to stop working today and start picketing.
I am genuinely concerned.
At the forefront of the strike, says the union, are dwindling earnings for writers in the age of streaming.
Admiral on the bridge.
While companies like Amazon, Disney, Netflix, and our parent company Paramount have flourished,
the writers, in a nutshell, feel that the streaming revolution has really left them behind.
Matthew Bellany is a Hollywood insider and founding partner of Puck.News.
They don't get as much money when shows play on streaming services than they did when shows are played on traditional linear television.
Roughly 85% of households are subscribed to at least one streaming service, but the writers claim they aren't sharing in that success. And with shows producing fewer episodes each season, writers receive less pay.
It's complicated.
The WGA says almost half of its TV writers work at the minimum salary, up from 33% from a decade ago. But studio producers say their budgets are already maxed out. Last time writers took to the picket line was 2000.
I wonder why they're maxed out. Of course, the budgets are always maxed out. They're never not maxed out. That's how budgets work, okay, under capitalism. Yeah, you're supposed to go to the profit margins now and give a larger percentage of the profits to the writers themselves. That's the problem. You can say, oh, man, sorry, we're fucking maxed out all day, every day. But of course, no matter what happens, like, it's quite literally because you just don't want to shave away any of the piece of the profits. Why does streaming affect writers like this? Doesn't Netflix still need writers? Guys, streamers are one other avenue of distribution that popped the fuck off in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years, okay? And as is the case with any other vertical, what ends up happening is the companies, especially with like higher levels of consolidation, because the streamers themselves also own the IP, usually, which is like built-in consolidation, corporate consolidation, they have shittier contracts there. A lot of the reason why these guys are picketing right now is because they want similar contracts that they have with respect to residuals and with respect to like how you make money as a writer off of these shows on television. They want that to also be implemented in the streamer side. Okay? Aren't they talking about streaming services, not streamers? Yes, in the real world and not in our little corner of the universe, our little tiny corner sliver of the universe, okay? You don't know what you're talking about? You're so right. People call streaming platforms streamers, okay? I know that we have a little tiny sliver of the content space and we think that that is like literally everything. But no one other than, you know, the YouTube, Twitch influencer side of the world calls streaming platforms streamers. I mean, only we call streamers. Everywhere else, you usually call streaming platforms streamers. Anyway. Jimmy, you fucking fake. He wasn't even at the meeting this morning to tell us we won't get paid after this week. Jimmy Fallon, please support your staff. Had fun bowling with you last week, but a fun party won't pay my rent.
If there is a strike, do you go dark?
If there's, I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for my writers, and I support them all the way. They got to have a fair contract, and they got a lot of stuff to iron out, and hopefully they get it done.
If there is a strike, do you go dark?
If there's a strike, yeah, I think we will, yeah.
Dude, when you got Jimmy motherfucking Fallon, like shittily expressing solidarity, God, it's so awesome to see. I don't give a fuck that like the Writers Guild is like one of the best good old boys clubs, like some chatter was saying, since the Teamsters or whatever. You got my man quaking and shaking, okay? That's Jimmy Fallon. That is literally the closest you can get to an AI bot that was perfectly designed by TV executives, okay? That is literally a robot short-circuiting when asked the question at the fucking Met Gala about organized labor and is he going to express solidarity with organized labor, and he is forced to be like, ha ha, yeah. Come on now.
Yeah, I think we'll go dark. Whatever I can do to support the guild. I am actually in the Writers Guild as well. So, yeah, I couldn't do the show without them, and I support my whole staff.
So the problem apparently is that he wasn't supporting his staff in the real world, it seems, but we'll see. It could just be, I don't know. It could be like a misunderstanding. But my point is this, okay? I don't give a fuck about the staffer saying that Jimmy Fallon is fake or phony. I know Jimmy Fallon is fake and phony. Jimmy Fallon is a robot, okay? But as a member of the Writers Guild, he is, no matter how much money he's going to lose here, he's still going, fuck it, YOLO. We're doing it. It's a strike, baby. And you got to understand that is how it's supposed to be done. That's how it works. It's great. CNN guest blasts CNN owner's salary during on-air WGA chat. That's funny. Anyway. Their demands, you should look at some of their demands. We're going to look at some of their demands right now. We have proposals that would prevent the studios from eliminating the writer's room. They refuse to discuss them. We have proposals to protect screenwriters from free work that would cost them nothing to implement. They rejected them and offered an educational meeting. We propose that comedy/variety daytime writers on streaming have the same pay and protections as they do on TV. Instead, they offered us a minimum that would apply to virtually no shows on the air. Oh, and also, they want to start paying you by the day. We proposed that AI not be used to undermine our work. They rejected our proposal and offered an annual meeting to discuss advances in technology. Wow, a meeting. Thank you ever so much. An insulting counter, just dripping with contempt. I mean, that's precisely what it is. Rejected our proposal, refused to counter. Rejected our proposal, refused to counter. We brought writers desperate stories of not being able to make a living in this business to the AMPTP, and that was their response. Why did you say new Dick Serto tweet? They better agree to the proposal quick. Oh, yeah. Pay your writers or we'll spoil Succession. Yeah, it's fucked up. Don't do that. Contracts are different because streaming doesn't have any rebroadcasting, and so all the money is made right when it drops and not over time. Yes and no. There's also like different ways of doing residuals. In the rebroadcasting ways that they can do it, because that IP still stands. Like you can resell it, you can resurface it, you can retool it, reutilize it. There's way too many chumps on Twitter chirping about how writers aren't doing anything and how they can just use ChatGPT to replace them. Even Casey Neistat knows how soulless AI script writing is. Yeah, look. There's a couple different ways that people are very upset about this. You know, they're upset because like, oh, this gets in front of my treats. I love my treats. What the fuck? Like, you're not going to let me watch my MCU? Fuck you. Right? There's like that, which is incredibly stupid. There's the people who are saying, there are the people who are saying, oh my God, you know, you already get paid so much. What the fuck do you want? Which is so stupid, because if you're getting paid $5 million a year, what do I always say? That means someone's getting paid $1 billion off of your work, okay? There's a lot of people saying it's all Hollywood, who cares? These guys are still laborers, they're still workers. And there's a lot of people who are making qualitative assessments on how, you know, these guys are shitty at writing anyway, okay? This is funnier than anything we could write. Yeah, this is great. The strike is immoral. You are denying millions of Americans a mental health outlet, and this will directly lead to suicides. The WGA will be morally culpable.
For a show called Abbott Elementary that's on a
Breaking, the TV and movie writers just voted to authorize a strike that could shut down Hollywood. We covered this when it happened last time. Here, let's rewatch this video. Actually, this is a great video on the matter. The strike authorization got 97.85% yes, by
ABC,
the way.
which is a tradition.
And for the record, the writers that you see on television that are saying, the famous writers that you see on television that are also actors that are making a lot of fucking money already, they are the ones who are losing the most in this process. So anyone that says like, oh my God, how dare they fucking, you know, they have the money to be able to do this, like that's why they're doing it. Shut the fuck up. This industry doesn't have like automatic pay across the board for the same price for everyone. You're still getting paid off of like what you're bringing to the table. Okay, so no, those motherfuckers are the ones who are actually working, that have like $1 million fucking contracts that they're casting aside so that dudes who are just starting off get better protections, or dudes that are, dudes that have been writers for a couple years are getting better fucking protections. It is very frustrating when people make people say stupid shit like this. This is quite literally for those who are at the very bottom of the totem pole of writing. Okay? Something very stupid you're going to see over the next weeks are people arguing that screenwriters are being unreasonable. Times have changed. No, times were changed by somebody, by people making choices. There's an unfortunate, oh my God, let this guy write again. This is God, this is the only part about this that is going to be worse, is that all these motherfuckers love writing, okay? So they're just going to write Twitter threads now that they're not writing screenplays. Oh my God, dude. Oh, my head hurts. That's too much. At that point, are you scabbing? Stop writing, motherfucker. Come on, it's a writer's strike. Don't write anymore. You wrote too much. You wrote too much, John Rogers. I'm joking. We're gonna cover Steven Crowder's genitals. God, there's so much going on here. Let's wrap this up real quick.
2007, which helped give rise to reality TV.
Yeah, that is literally what happened last time this happened. Like, reality TV fucking happened. It's true. It's true. the same thing happen to streaming now? It's already happening to streaming as well, but anyway.
That strike lasted 100 days, and its impact cost the city of Los Angeles more than $2 billion.
Do you think it could last 6 to 8 months?
This could last a year. We are in a perfect storm here because the studios are all under financial pressure right now.
Now, the alliance representing studio producers says it presented a comprehensive proposal to the Writers Guild last night. The Guild says it is insufficient. Keep in mind there is added pressure for a deal as both the Screen Actors and Directors Guild seek new contracts next month.
Yeah. It's so funny because, like, I live in this industry. I live in the capital of this industry. And given my proximity or, like, where I live and shit, it's either people who are super gung-ho about the strike and are very stoked on it, who are, like, very successful writers themselves, or it's the lawyers that are very frustrated, okay? Like, contract lawyers that are like, oh, they're fucking over everyone right now. It's really fucked up. It's like, oh, they're really fucking up the bag right now. Nobody wants this to happen. Why are you making this happen? Prediction, we'll see a rise of more sports and pro wrestling pop up on TV. You don't need writers for those. You think pro wrestling doesn't have writers? What? I mean, maybe not unionized writers, but wrestling definitely has writers. Bro, the real hit to this, the real hit for the writer strike is happening to the NBA. Okay? The NBA is also scripted. What are they going to do? If they don't write the script, does LeBron not take it? Like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Warriors about to sweep LeBron? No shot. Could you explain how your support for the writers against AI is different than Tucker Carlson's support for truckers against self-driving cars? Genuine question. No, I don't have an issue with AI, like I said, as long as the terms and conditions are clearly defined in a way that it doesn't harm the laborers. That's the only thing I have to say about the AI component there. Like, and when you're a powerful union, you can get away with that. You can literally fucking turn around and be like, we're going to set how you can use the AI script tools and writers tools. Not in a way that is like profit maxing, but in a way that like actually alleviates some of the stress from our writers. That's it. Anyway, what are the odds of IASA striking? Now will be the perfect time to strike. Well, they already got a contract. Does this affect anime content? No. No, don't worry. Your anime content is protected because they're created by dudes living in like fucking sheds that are working for 3 cents an hour. So all that stuff is they're or created by mangakas that have dedicated their entire lives to this kind of thing, so much so that they literally die at an early age because they've like dedicated every aspect of their existence into creating this manga and a subsequent anime that is made out of it. Anime production is done in horrible conditions that make the top of the hour ad breaks that I have to serve look like nothing, because it is really nothing, especially if you're subscribed. Like, for example, at the top of the hour, I run a 3-minute ad break. If you are a subscriber, okay, if you have subscribed for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, then you basically don't even see those ads at the top of the hour. You know what I mean? You can also get gifted a sub, though, if you're lucky. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. For people who are asking, like, what can we random civilians do to support? I'm not a writer. Like, how can we help these strikes? How can we demonstrate solidarity? It's the same principle behind any kind of strike. Attend a picket line, show support, bring pizza, that sort of thing, bring food. There are schedules for all the picket lines out there, for all the picketing events out there. Like I said, today it's from 1 to 5 p.m. Pacific outside of the Netflix building. Very confused MB and Sakura Gore, thank you for the 10 gifted subs each. Speed Razor, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. You know, those are the things you can do. Vegan piano, and please bring vegan options. Many in Hollywood are vegan. Thanks, vegan piano. That's great. Would you consider what? Doing a man on the street pundit work for the strike? Wait, what do you mean? Yes, I am going to go to a picket line. Yes, 100%. Possibly on Thursday. It's right in your backyard and something we care about. Plus, you pull mad writer girls with Kai on your side. No, I will not be bringing my fucking unvaccinated puppy to a public event. That part is crazy. Yes, Kaya is unfortunately unvaccinated. She's an anti-vaxxer, and also on top of that, does not care about the striking writers. She thinks that, you know, they should do better. They should write better content. Lol. That's what she told me.
Traditional network, but the next day we're on Hulu, and a little bit after that we're on HBO Max and Disney Plus. So the amount for a re-air on the network is $13,500, and the amount that you're paid for that episode being on new media streaming is $700.
Hollywood is broken. And no, it's not because Chris Pratt was cast as Mario or that Emperor Palpatine somehow came back from the dead in the last Star Wars movie, although those are both admittedly bad.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
It's because the television industry has evolved in a way that abandons the very people who bring richness and diversity in characters and stories to our screens. Yes, we're talking about streaming. And while I've been a part of the onslaught of people sitting at the feet of HBO Max on many Sunday nights waiting for the next episode of Game of Thrones to drop, I would hope and expect that the people who wrote that masterpiece are being rewarded for captivating all of our eyeballs. Well, they're not. Not like they used to be anyway.
The economic pillars that our industry have been built upon have, in the last decade, been turned on their head.
Television writers are being paid less money for these complex, multifaceted, unique narratives that bring companies like Warner Bros., Disney, and Netflix billions upon billions of dollars every year. And now, writers are understandably at their limits. And soon, that could affect you.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Right now, Hollywood writers are in a heated contract dispute with the 9 largest production studios. At the center of that fight is something called residuals, one of the most important ways that writers get paid.
Residuals are payments that are made every quarter by the companies to the writers for the content that they create.
The WGA contracts that currently exist were built upon a model where the content providers generated the revenue through ad sales. So if I write an episode of television that re-airs over and over and over again, every time that episode re-airs, the content provider generates revenue, and a little piece of that revenue gets shared with everyone that contributed to the creation of it. Now, their revenue is made almost exclusively through monthly or annual subscriptions. So there is no re-airing. People can watch what they want when they want, which means that we're not getting the same residuals that we once would have.
What I'm accustomed to as a broadcast writer, as a residual, like $20,000 for an episode of TV, in streaming, I just got a check for the same project for $23. And what's happening a lot is that at a certain point, after a certain couple of years, a streamer has to continue paying residuals, and instead of doing that, they much rather just pull the product from their app. And so that's what we're seeing a lot of. Content that we create 5 years from now, completely gone, and we are not getting any residual compensation out of it.
So if you have a favorite show that you loved that you can't find anywhere anymore, it's because those content providers don't want to pay the creators of the show for the right to air it.
Remember when HBO Max removed its very own Emmy Award-winning hit Westworld from its streaming library? Hate to break it to you, that was over residuals. Another issue at the heart of the writer's contract dispute is something called mini rooms, which is basically a cute way to refer to writers' rooms that essentially do the same work with a fraction of the workers in a fraction of the time to turn over a larger profit.
Historically speaking, a writer's room was generally only constructed for a program that had been ordered to series, that you were guaranteed to see at least the first few episodes of on television. It meant that the content providers spent millions of dollars on a pilot episode. They watched the pilot episode, they said, we love this, let's order it to series, and a writer's room was created. Increasingly, they are saying, you know what, let's not spend those millions of dollars on a pilot. Let's spend significantly less money on a number of mini rooms where we will hire a smaller number of writers per project, and we will order 2 or 3 or 4 or however many scripts without actually shooting any of it. And then we can look in and read those scripts and decide whether or not this is a season of television we want to invest tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in.
And what writers were seeing a lot of were the streamers were only going to pay weekly compensation to all writers regardless of level. So you could be a co-executive producer with 10 years of experience who might have sold some development, so you have a proven track record. You could be making the same as a staff writer who this is their very first job right out the gate.
We should be able to say, hey, I'm making more money now than I was making 10 years ago, because that's how careers work in every industry. You don't work the same job for 10 years and make less money than you did when you first started doing it.
Yes,
and that's what's happening to us.
It's fine if they want to hire us weekly on shows that have not been ordered to series yet, that they're just collecting scripts for. But we need to be compensated in the same way that we were compensated when we were writing shows that they were putting on the air. It's the same time and creative energy being put into those scripts. The fact that these content providers might be choosing not to make them doesn't mean that we're working less hard on them and that we should be paid less for the creation of them.
At the end of the day, this all comes down to greed. In 2000, the combined entertainment operating profits of the production studios was $5 billion. By 2019, with the advent of streaming and the addition of companies like Netflix in the mix, they were up to $30 billion. Streaming has boosted corporate profits, but writers are actually earning less now.
It is absolutely undeniable that the streaming platforms are generating mountains of money through their subscription base. What they're choosing to do with that money is an entirely different question.
There's this misconception outside of Hollywood that writers are bougie, six-figure people who live in palaces in Beverly Hills, and why are they complaining about what more compensation? And that's couldn't be far from the truth.
The fight that the writers in this industry are battling is probably not very different from the fight that they or friends or relatives have been facing with the consolidation of power and money. There are fewer and fewer corporations holding more and more of the purse strings and protecting the coffers and the coins more and more greedily. And that's certainly not unique to our industry.
We are making less money now than we were making 10 years ago, and the industry is shifting to prioritize streaming, and none of our pay structure or the amount of money that we're paid reflects those changes. They are treating everything like TV operates the same as it did 10 years ago. And
for the record, like, the easiest way to describe it is like they just want similar contracts to what they had on television. That doesn't even mean like they want the same amount of money. It just means they want a similar pay structure. As in, like, they want a similar cut of the percentages of the profits that they are currently not getting, that they're getting shut out from on streamer services, because the media, or just like every other fucking industry, or Hollywood in general, just like any other fucking industry, does the same thing when there's like, oh, there's a new innovative product. Let's use this as an opportunity to fuck over some of the workers that are playing a role in creating that product.
I think everyone, even viewers, know that's just not true. The industry needs to catch up.
If push comes to shove, a strike is incredibly important to show these companies that we mean business and that we won't stand for them trying to take our livelihoods in Hollywood.
The writers are asking for a 2% raise. The studios can't. The studios say they can't do that. Here's how much these motherfuckers make. Ari Emanuel, the CEO of Endeavor, William Morris Endeavor, the agency that I am also a part of, I'm represented by, $308 million. David Zaslav, $246 million. Bob Iger, $45 million. Broke boy. Bob Chapek, $32 million. Last year, 8 major Hollywood studio CEOs made over $773 million in annual salary. That's almost $1 billion in annual salaries. Not talking about like fucking additional wealth that they have, their net worth or anything. I hate that, like, this also brings about, like, some of the stupidest people that go, dude, ChatGPT is like $20. Like, okay, bro. Yeah, you're right. ChatGPT is going to take over the writing industry. You're right. Well, go ahead, make your ChatGPT show. I'm sure there'll be a massive audience for it. I mean, that ChatGPT Elon video tricked you yesterday. What? Well, can't quite believe I'm writing this. Today, 150 African workers behind ChatGPT, TikTok, and Facebook voted to unionize at a landmark meeting in Nairobi. Oh my God. That's fire. Anyway, so since then, the strike has been authorized. They didn't reach a deal by May 1st, and not only did they not do that, but MPTPA or the AMPTP, sorry, the Alliance of the Motion Picture and Television Producers, they literally were so fucking against it that they gave like snide remarks as a counter. We'll go back to like some of the we'll go back to some of the my mom wants to know what you're eating. I'm eating a chicken salad that my grandma made for me. She makes the best chicken salads. Her.
Writing, and I love. I'm good at one thing, which is writing, and I love writing so much. I really do, and you know, I would do it for free. Some might say writing corrections is doing it for free. You might notice Pizza Hut's sponsorship ended at 1. I am deeply proud of the fact that I get to be a professional writer, and I bring this up because as of Monday at midnight, there might be a writer's strike, and if a writer's strike happens, that would shut down production on a great many shows. And I've been through this before in 2007, 2008. There was a very long strike when I was working at SNL, and it was really miserable. And it doesn't just affect the writers, it affects all the incredible non-writing staff on these shows. And it would really be a miserable thing for people to have to go through, especially considering we're on the heels of that awful pandemic that affected, obviously, not just show business, but all of us. And so I'm incredibly grateful that...
Hold up. Let him cook. He's right. He's right. He's not wrong. Strikes are not supposed to be a fun time. Yeah, they're hard. They're tough. Except I'm willing to fucking bet he's not going to turn around and shit on the striking workers. He's going to do the thing that you never really see in television at all, which is the other side of a strike. What do I always say? There's two sides to a strike. You got the striking workers who want better contracts, and then you got the bosses who could afford to give them those better contracts but refuse to concede to those demands. Okay? But you never hear that in the media. You never, ever hear that. The media always covers strikes as though the labor unions have have all the power to stop this immediately. Yeah, they do. You know who else has all the power to stop it immediately? The fucking bosses, bitch. He's a writer.
There are negotiators for both sides sitting and talking. I'm incredibly hopeful that they can come to an agreement. I also feel very strongly that what the writers are asking for is not unreasonable. And as a proud member of the Guild, I'm very grateful that there's an organization that looks out for the best interests of writers. So if you don't see me here next week, know that it is something that is not done lightly, and that I will be heartbroken to miss you as well. And let's just keep our you-know-whats and see me when you see me.
Yeah. I know a lot of people go, lol, late night television sucks, lol, TV sucks, lol, these writers are all gay. They're all fucking Hollywood. They're Hollywood libtards. Who gives a fuck? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what your personal distaste is in writing or the content. Okay? I don't watch 98% of the fucking shows these motherfuckers write. Okay? Who gives a shit? The entire point of this is that unions are not political. Okay? They're not about left. They're not about right. They're about what is fair. Because you might not appreciate a TV show, and there's plenty that I don't. But ultimately, those writers are generating value. Okay? Those TV shows are still making money. Okay? So what these guys are asking for is simply a percentage of that money that they are generating to be returned to them in the form of better contracts. Not to go out to the CEOs and the executives, not to go out to the shareholders, the faceless, lifeless shareholders that will never actually understand what it takes to make any product whatsoever. They just simply have capital dumped into it. But back to them, the workers. They want, as is the case with every other strike, as is the case with every other contract renegotiation, they want a larger percentage of the profits that they are generating. Okay, for the record, unions are definitely left, but they're fundamentally about fairness. It doesn't matter. No. Well, there are plenty of fucking Trump supporters in unions. Maybe not in the Writers Guild, but it don't matter.
I'm good.
About the writer's strike.
You know, I just hope everyone is treated equally. I hope that they get what they deserve, and I hope that people listen to them. You know, people strike for a reason. So, you know, I just really hope that people are listening.
Do you find yourself going to more meetings right now to try to get things going before a strike happens?
I'm always trying to get things going before strikes happen, so that's not going to change much.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
It's funny because, like, this is the fucking Met Gala. So obviously it's the worst possible place that you could fucking ask someone about labor opinions. But even in like traditional legacy publishers, like they don't really have a lot of like solid labor reporters. They should hire more of my friends, is what I'm saying. Like you rarely ever have, like at the Met Gala, it's pretty funny to ask these questions to begin with. Because, like, it's the fucking Met Gala. Like, they don't... The people that they send to the red carpet of the Met Gala are not, like, labor reporters. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. If you want to know where the picket schedules are and where the locations are, the WGA East location, Netflix Manhattan headquarters. This is for the WGA East. Here are the West ones. They're going to do one at Amazon. Monday through Friday, 9336 Washington Boulevard, Culver City. At Tuesday, today's is happening from 1 to 5 p.m. Wednesday is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thursday and Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. They're happening everywhere, all around at these times that I just gave you. They're either happening at Amazon, they're happening at CBS Radford, they're happening at CBS TV City, they're happening at Disney, they're happening at Fox, they're happening at Netflix. Paramount, Sony, Universal, Warner Bros. So there's plenty of strikes happening. And plenty of strikes that WGA East and WGA West is putting together. I myself will be attending one of these as well. An underrated part of our current media company dynamic that's led to the strike is how miserable the executives within these companies are. They hate this new system as much as we do. The plural of anecdote is not data, but the advantage of being in the business 25 years is that I have executive friends who have risen through their ranks. They have lunches, and I sit there and listen. Each one explains the unbelievable dysfunction at their particular workplace, the bosses who don't understand or even like scripted entertainment, the open scorn which they hold the execs who've actually made television. A friend of one streamer says, I just called and canceled the show that by any metric had great numbers, and I literally can't tell you why. Multiple executives over the last 2 years have told them they're not actually sure who their direct bosses is. Because of the constant pointless restructuring, they know releasing a staff that was too small to begin with at the end of 10 weeks and having one writer prep, shoot, and post every episode during a season is a bad way to make television. They know it. They say it. But in an ironic twist of fate, They can't do anything about it because they're not unionized, and they may be among the thousands of layoffs made not for any real purpose, but to play accounting games so their bosses can eke out yet another quarter of growth. That is ironic. But part of it is literally due to the corporate structure of Silicon Valley backed streamers. The writers don't want the strike, but a lot of other Hollywood workers see it as the first step in reversing calamitous pattern that's coming to lay for themselves. Directors, actors, or even our exec frenemies. I'm not going to get more specific because a remarkable number of my lunches and dinners start with, I'd get fired for saying this, but we know you're out there, and I say this with love. That's a good note. We'll look at it in the blues. Oh, it's capitalism, baby. Line gotta fucking go up. You don't understand. Line gotta fucking keep going up. And sometimes the line go up in mysterious ways, especially in the stock market. And if your company is beholden to financial wheeling and dealing in a way that like even traditional studios were not prior to this streamer apocalypse, then, you know, then you throw in another layer of uncertainty online. Here's friend of the show, Adam Conover, who is going to be coming on the broadcast probably on Thursday. Speaking to CNN. CNN guest blast CNN owner's salary during on-air WGA chat. Let's take a look.
That run this industry that say, look, times are changing. We are not making as much money as we once did. This is not the golden era of television, although some of this would argue the shows are great. What do you say to them?
So I'd point out the fact that David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, which is, you know, the parent company of the network I'm talking to you on right now, was paid $250 million last year, $250 million. That's about the same level as what 10,000 writers are asking him to pay all of us collectively, all right? So I would say if you're being paid $250 million, Ted Sarandos made about $50 million last year. These companies are making enormous amounts of money. Their profits are going up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Talk to me when the CEO pay gets cut, because that's when shit is actually devastating, okay? If the CEO pays keep going up, that means the company's doing well. So why the fuck? If the company's doing well, why the fuck are the workers not being paid fairly? You know what I mean? Profits are up. Everybody's fucking raking it in. We don't know where it goes. It goes back into the market.
Ridiculous for them to plead poverty when the writers who are making their shows, some of them are not able to pay their rent or their mortgages. I literally know writers who have had to go on assistance because they have not been able to make their year. If you look at these companies, they're making more money than ever. It's the people who make the shows for them that are making less.
Adam Conover, thank you so much for coming on. Because you ruined everything. You may have just ruined my career, but I don't mind.
Anyway, fun stuff. Adam ruins everything, including the careers of the shows that he goes on. Well, he can't ruin mine. So, what about the hosts who are WGA members? Well, they're not. When they're a TV show host, when you are a TV show host, you are not acting as a writer. You're acting in the capacity as a host. Remember when James Corden went to a Writers Guild meeting to advocate for lower pay? What the fuck? No, he didn't. Most of the concrete accusation against him also is one that he inadvertently confirmed on Twitter while trying to defend himself. The accusation revolves around a 2019 incident where Corden reportedly showed up at a Writers Guild of America meeting with his executive producer, but none of his writers, to advocate for a new writers program that would allow his show to hire writers who had interned for a year on the show at a wage lower than the mandated minimum set by the guild. The accusation came from a late night writer who had attended the meeting. Tweeting from the handle Jack Allison Lol, he wrote, "I'd like to state once again for the record that I went to a WGA meeting for only late night writers, and James Corden showed up without any of his staffers to advocate for a lower pay grade for his late night writers." Replying to the accusation, Corden tried to frame the incident in a more positive light, tweeting that he would never ever want to pay writers less than they deserve. Never. I love every writer on my show, and all I ever wanted from that meeting was to explore whether talented people could get a better opportunity. However, Jack Allison immediately scuttled Corden's out of the kindness of his heart argument by saying, "James, you showed up to a guild meeting as an employer, flanked by your executive producer, to advocate for the show's interest to pay writers less. If you want to give talented young writers a shot, you can pay them the guild minimum that was negotiated in the NBA." The NBA tweet is referred to a minimum basic agreement that had happened, a collective bargaining agreement that covered the benefits, rights, and protections for most of the work done by WGA members. Corden was not able to answer this tweet, in essence confirming that he was trying to take advantage of the new writers who were the lowest on the totem pole and could be exploited. I can't find it anywhere online, but I can understand that the workers are united, but are the networks united too? Can a network agree to the new terms and fuck all the other networks? Wait, what? No, because then they'll get striked again. No, they can't violate the terms of their contracts, because if they do, increase the most residual basis. Streaming feature bargaining agreement that covered the benefits, rights, and protections for most of the work done. The reason why they agree to a bargaining agreement The reason why they agree to a minimum basic agreement is because if they do, like, the reason why they are agreeing to that contract is not because of the kindness of their hearts. The reason why they agree to a minimum basic agreement is because a strike happened. A strike happened, and it cost them $2 billion collectively. Okay? Like, technically, they are united, but they are united as the AMPTP, right? Except the AMPTP together get together and basically say, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna follow through on some of the demands that you made. Melky says raid, baby. Melky, thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Would you rather have guild minimum pay / conditions or a dinner with James Corden? It's like one of those. It's like one of those things where it's like, I know that's the Jay-Z tweet, but with at least Jay-Z is interesting, right? And cool. And I don't know, like that could be a weird, an interesting dinner to have. James Corden offers none of those things that Jay-Z offers.